Hey guys, welcome back. This is Mike with Bound for Freedom, back in the driveway working on another project. So this one's actually not Lexus pertaining. This is actually just an overlanding or anyone who's camping and wants to get rid of this type of can that you have to pour in order to use. Now, there are some other cans. There's Front Runner has their awesome can that has a spout that is built in here. That's pretty cool. Now, the only disadvantage of that is if your tire carrier on your bumper or however you carry your jerry cans has a bottom base that actually secures your jerry can in there, you can't get in there. That means you have to pick it up, move it around, and go from there. This is awesome for me. It doesn't work too bad. It works, what I'm gonna say. The hard part is for my wife and anyone else using it, you have to pour it. And 5 gallons poured, not always the easiest thing to do. So today, we're gonna be doing something that's gonna be pretty primal. It's gonna be very simplistic. I've seen some guys do this way more complicated, but thanks to Adopt Adventure, he's given me a great idea that I'm gonna bring to you guys and show you guys how to do it and hopefully get it all squared away. Stay tuned. Alrighty, so we are working on something that's going to be a little bit more simplistic. Like I said, some people have done this mod and they've done it in a way that requires power. So either 12-volt power or battery power, and that works great. If you are bougie like that and you want something that's a little bit more complicated, but still simple where you just push a button on a tap and water comes out, completely cool. I wanted something a little bit more basic, that way I have less failure points, that way it's just more simplistic, and it's also a lot less expensive. I think I'm going to be into this project maybe $65, and that's with purchase of everything. And of course, down below I will post up every part you will need in order to get this done, and you're, I think, going to enjoy it. It's a simple action that's going to allow you to pull water out of your jerry can into whatever you need to do it. So let's get started and let me show you what you need to do. In order to complete this project, you're going to need just a couple of items. Outside of the tools, which I'll go over next, you're going to need just these items here. So we're going to need a Spectre 20 liter or 5 gallon NATO style water can. The biggest difference is it's going to give us the wide mouth style filler, and we're going to go ahead and modify this to fit our pump. You're going to need a dual action pump. This is going to be found on Amazon. I think I paid about 16 bucks for this, and it is simple. You're going to need about a foot of 1/2 inch clear tubing, 2 feet of stainless cable, and that's 3/32. You're going to need 2 aluminum 3/32 stops for the cable, and lastly, and this is my favorite, a 1/2 inch dust cap. And this is also found at Home Depot. These are called bolt caps, and this is 1/2 inch in size. So let's go ahead, show you the tools, and let's get started. So let's go ahead and get started and show you what you need. So again, I've never done this, so we're gonna learn how to do this all together. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is grab our water cap, and we're gonna go ahead and remove the spout top, as we are no longer gonna need this. So simply throw that away. So in order to do this, we need to actually start with a flat surface or semi-flat surface. So we're going to need to use a hacksaw blade and actually remove this nipple off of the cap in order to go ahead and start our measurement, so we can go ahead and adapt this to this. So let's go ahead and start cutting. Now what I've done is I've just taken my hacksaw blade off my hacksaw and just going to use it via hand, and we're going to give this a shot. Pretty easy. Next, we're going to go ahead and just file this flat a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to go ahead and disassemble our pump next. Now we're going to go ahead and see where we're going to go ahead and need to cut. Now, the goal is to go ahead and get this to focus. So we want to go ahead, and if you can see here, we want to kind of open it up this way. And the reason for that is we need to go ahead and put the cap so it's able to get there. If we get the hole too centered, we're not going to be able to tighten our cap here, and it's going to make that a pain. So we're going to go ahead and our goal is to move this hole up a little bit, and I'm thinking somewhere around there, and that way we can kind of go from there. Now the fun part is going to be how we're going to get that hole opened up, and I believe this is about 1.25 inches, and I am thinking so maybe this might work. So I'm using a step bit, and I'm going to pretty much go all the way through. This is going to be 1.1 inches, and we want to get to this piece here. So make sure we're going in the right direction. We are. And this is one of those go slowly, do it once. Because if we screw this up, we're out a jerry can. Still not enough. So this is 1.1 inches that we've opened this up to. It's still not enough, which we kind of knew. So we're going to go ahead and just, I'm thinking, file. If you're wanting to use yourself, I'd probably recommend grabbing a set bit that is going to be up to 1/2 or 1/4 inch. Now, I am almost able, or actually, I'm not almost, I'm fully able to get this squared away now. So, going at a slight angle, but what I do like about this is it's going to be nice and tight. Let's go ahead and screw this in a little bit, and we'll see how this works out. And if my autofocus is going all over the place, I am so sorry, guys. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and thread our cap on. See how that looks. This is a stupid simple project. With some basic tools, you can get this completed. Now, I'm not certain if the O-ring is supposed to be on which side. Let's pull this off real quick. I don't see a groove for it. And we can deburr this a little bit. Now I wonder, so if you can kind of see here, my O-ring is slightly crushed in one way or the other. So I'm going to go ahead and try to flatten that out just a little bit. And the way I'm going to do that is, I really do like having it really tight in there, but let's see if we can flatten that out just a little bit. So I think I need to file that flat just a little bit more. I wonder if we're going to try something here. First off, I'm going to melt off some of this just a little bit. And I'm just kind of smoothing out what I've done. In theory, so I might have to undo this one more time, but we will see. So let's put this back together. Go ahead and put our O-ring on the bottom here, and then put this back on. And I think that actually might be better. All right. So, as you can see there, that was pretty freaking easy. So, the next step in this is simply going to be attaching our 1/2-inch tube to our pump, and that's it. So let's go ahead and install this on the can, and let's function test it, and then we're going to go ahead and build out our dust cap, which is going to be just like that. Boom. Easiest mod I've done in a while, and I think this is going to be awesome. Let's go ahead and put it on the can. So that wasn't too bad, right? So you could, if you want, to go ahead and use a step bit. I really liked using that, just a little bit easier. Put a little side pressure on it and it cuts perfectly. My step bit was 1 1/8 inch. They do make step bits that actually go a little bit higher. We need 1 1/4 inch, so I just used a rat tail, as we saw, in order to open it up. And what's nice about that is it threads in really nice, so it's nice and firm here, so there's not a whole lot of wiggle. The only wiggle we'll get is just from the cap itself. I've decided to put the O-ring on the bottom. We'll see how that works out, and really just crank on this as much as I can. Next, we're gonna go ahead and put this, no. Now this is going to be the only fun part. So you just have to bend that. So what you can do before you thread this in is put the cap, or the retainer for the cap over it, and that might make things a little easier, as you saw. Let's go ahead and put this on all the way. We're going to feed this in. Now, one thing I did notice is it's going to make filling this a little bit more of a challenge. Basically, what you would need to do is just put your hose in here and then fill it that way. It's not too bad. So we'll go ahead and screw this on. All right. So we got water. It works perfectly. Check that out. So it's dual action. So you pull out, it pumps water. You push in, it pumps in water. Or pumps out water, I should say. Pretty cool, right? So for just a couple of bucks, you're converting, if you already have this can, you're converting it for under 20 bucks to do this. If you wanted to go ahead and purchase a brand new can, I think I got this on Amazon for, I think it was like 43 bucks, so like 46 bucks shipped. And yeah, this is gonna make filling so much easier than having to go ahead and tilt this bad boy over. This is just simple. I like it a lot. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the next part, which is going to be securing the dust cap on here, because the biggest issue we're gonna have with this is as you go down the trail, you're gonna get nothing but dirt and debris in here. And this is simple. The problem with this is every single time you put it on and off, you're gonna have to make sure you don't lose it. And Adopt Adventure actually came up with another genius way of doing this that I'm stealing, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it as well. So basically we're going to put this on a leash. So let's get started with that. So depending on where you plan to keep the jerry can will depend on if you need to do this mod or not. If you're going to be like me and run this can on the outside of your vehicle, we need to go ahead and prevent this from getting dirt and debris inside of it. So the way to do that is going to be using a little bolt cap. This is 1/2 inch in size. Now we could of course just slap this on there and call it good. The only problem with that is if we do that, we have to pull this on and off and not lose it every single time. So we're going to go ahead and use a little bit of cable, a couple of ferrules, and we're going to go ahead and adapt a leash to this cap, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So first step we're gonna do is drilling out the nipple on the cap. So if you look here, there we go. There's just a slight nipple on this little cap here. Come on. And we're gonna go ahead and use that as a center point. So very carefully, you're gonna grab your drill bit, just a small one, just enough for the cable. And we're gonna go ahead and put a very small hole in the top of our nipple. From there, we're gonna go ahead and squeeze our cable through. Now what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna use the stop for the ferrule. I'm gonna go ahead and punch this down, and we're gonna secure it to the cap this way, and then we'll simply just pull it back, and that's it for this side. So let me go ahead and adapt to the floor really quickly. And we're gonna go ahead and give this a quick smash, and we'll be all set. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and do is using our vise. Alrighty, so the goal here is gonna be using our flat side of our vise, and we're gonna go ahead and use a hammer and a punch, and we're gonna see how well this works. This is gonna be a little on the difficult side. We could also give this a pre-smash. A little flat side, and that's going to allow us to go ahead and get a flat space to go ahead and punch. Let's go a little bit more. Now my hard part is my punch is slightly bent. You know what I mean? Alrighty. So if we look here, wait for that to come in focus. Come on, Nelly. Come on. You can see there, sorry about that. So that should go ahead and allow the cap to go ahead and be retained. And it'll stay in there just like that. Alrighty, now that we've got our dust cap first part secured, we're gonna go ahead and give that a quick install. And then we're gonna go ahead and build our leash. So we're gonna go ahead and install our ferrule on our leash. And we're gonna go ahead and pull this down. And we're gonna figure out how much room we actually need. So my thought process on this is I don't wanna make this so it can easily be removed this way. So I wanna keep this collar of the leash a little on the tighter side. That way I can remove it by unscrewing the actual spout. That way this isn't removed easily so no one steals it or it doesn't get pulled off accidentally on the trail and then I lose it. So we're gonna go ahead and feed it through. And like I said, we just want a little bit of room. I don't want to make this too difficult, but at the same point in time, I think something like that might just work perfectly. So we're going to go ahead and cut our cable. Now these are not the right snips, but they shall work. And yeah, the only problem when you don't use the right snips is when you go to clamp this, it's not always the best. I'm gonna go ahead and see, I was actually just gonna use a punch to flatten this out, but I think I'm gonna try a set of butt connector pliers and see if I can at least get a start on it. All right, this is definitely a off-label use for these. So let's see if this will work. I mean, it'll work for what it is. Let's come in from this side. I don't think that's going anywhere. Give that a quick tug. And that's it. So what'd you guys think? That was pretty easy, right? I think I'm into this for about 15 minutes of my time. If I wasn't filming, it would actually be a lot quicker. As well as $60 in materials. Now, if you already have your NATO can, you can actually just convert this for about 20 bucks and you have a fully functioning spout style jerry can that's super easy. It's gonna look great. It's gonna function extremely well. Anybody can use this. And you're not having to pour water jugs. We're no longer having to pick this up and move it. Literally keep it in one place and you're ready to go. And on the outside, I think it's gonna be perfect. So big thanks to Adopt Adventure. He's the one who's given me the insight on how to make this. And now I'm sharing it with you guys because I think it's just a cool way to convert one of these cans into an awesome pump style. With the 1/2-inch hose, it reaches all the way down to the bottom, so I'm able to utilize all the water in there. And for under 60 bucks for everything, this is an awesome way of doing this. So I hope the video helped. If you guys have any questions, please hit the comments below. I'll also list all of the products that I use in order to make this from start to finish. Outside of the tools, it's easy, guys. From there, if you guys do like my content, please hit that like and subscribe button. I'd love to be able to share more with you. Hopefully I'll have more cool things like this one here. But yeah, really super excited about it. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I hope you guys have a great 2021.